She looks like a zealot to me. And she's got the zealot look. Okay, so there's something going on. Very eclectic group of women we have here as well. So, okay.
What is the Antichrist? Who is the Antichrist? Where is the Antichrist? These are the questions people have asked for centuries. In fact, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, Allah did not send any prophet but that he warned his nation of the one-eyed Dajjal. He is
Okay.
one-eyed, while your Lord is not one-eyed.
One-eyed Dajjal. Okay, so in Islam, the Antichrist is Odin. Is that what's going on? Never trust somebody with like a portrait with energy around a portrait. The last person I saw with that was a Greek posing as a Native American shaman, and yeah, he was a total fraud. I mean, he's dressed like he kind of reminds me of Chris Angel, right? You got like the outfit from Wish, you got the beanie. Like all his followers have these beanies on. Like he got like 1,000 beanies from Alibaba, and I mean, I'm not going to, become a zealot for this guy. I feel like I would be, especially me, being as superstitious as I am. That the Antichrist. I mean, I would be, and I don't worship. I'm not a Christian, so I feel like the actual Antichrist, I would be like a total zealot for, right? I would be completely susceptible. So I'm not exactly feeling it right now.
The word kafir is written between his two eyes. If this is true, and every prophet
Wait, is this the guy from My Pet Goat? Uh, Is this the actual? He kind of looks like the guy from My Pet Goat.
ever sent to a nation warned their people
If you don't know My Pet Goat, I mean, we have to go over My Pet Goat at some point, right?
about the Antichrist, then this is a topic of
Right? My Pet Goat meets Chris Angel. Uh, need some more things to see. He's good though. He's kind of masking himself, right? He's not. There's no overt symbols going on right now, which is rare because typically people are adorned with flashy symbology. So he might know what he's kind of gray manning right now. He kind of knows what he's doing.
the utmost importance. One cannot afford to get this wrong. Indeed, we find the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam
I like how they could just like roll that off the tongue. It's just so effortless for them.
told the truth, and every prophet did warn about the Antichrist. And in the Bible, Jesus alayhi also warned of the Antichrist. His disciples wrote,
All right. I mean, that's a bit. There's a bit too many female devotees going on here, right? This is a sex cult. This is a sex cult, 100%. Right? I mean, he's got like his army of incels over here. Um, and like this is his harem, right? He's got Indian women, he's got white women, he's got like Jewish women, he's got everything. He's got an Asian, okay? He's got everything.
but every spirit that does not acknowledge Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have heard is coming, and even now is already in the world. Even in Judaism,
Who's that guy?
in the Tanakh, the prophet Zechariah
The Tanakh.
warns of the Antichrist. He said, "Woe to
Lisa Nug oh, we got, like, a Chirka, right? Yeah, we got I mean, I wonder if he, got, like, a casting board just to make it as diverse as possible. They all have the same toque. Alibaba. You can tell, I mean, they have the zealot look, right? They're looking at him like he is Lisa Nal Gaib, the Mahdi, right? Like he's Paul
to the
Atreides or
worthless
something.
shepherd who deserts the flock. May the sword strike his arm and his right eye. May his arm be completely withered, his right eye totally blinded." So we can conclude that in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, the Antichrist is portrayed as a false and worthless leader.
Here's the thing about the Abrahamic faiths is that, I mean, if he is the Antichrist, or I don't know, like he just seems to be talking about him, but the Antichrist would be celebrated by them because, like, his arrival should be a celebration because that means it's the end times, right? So, I mean, they want the Antichrist. They want to rebuild the temple. Freemasons love rebuilding the temple. Why do you think it's a mortar? Why do you think it's all Masonic symbolism? Because they're building that temple, right? Solomon's temple. Masons, Christians, Jews, Muslims are all holding hands trying to rebuild this temple. Okay.
One who fails those who follow him, rejects the true Messiah, Jesus, alayhi salam,
And speaking of free carpenters, after this, we're going to look at some Eastern Star, which is apparently being blasted up into space. Um, yeah.
and is blind in his right eye. So, who fits this description of the Antichrist? People have long pondered the meanings of these characters.
She looks like she's from the Midwest. I mean, he's got everybody. Got some Midwesterners. She's from Portland. She's from BC. Um, we got we got everything under the sun here. He's got mass appeal. Okay, that is an important attribute to the Antichrist is that he will have mass appeal.
Characteristics, expecting an individual who is blind in one eye with the word kafir written on his forehead. But what if he is not a single individual? What if the Antichrist
Got an old boomer disciple.
is many people? What if he is a spirit that possesses an entire nation? This idea is reinforced by other verses in the New Testament. Children,
Yeah. Um. I don't know where she's from. I should brush up on that ethnicity. You know that geography guessing game? Like there's an ethnicity phenotype guessing game. So I need to definitely brush up on that.
it is the last hour. And just as you heard that
Zealot.
Antichrist is coming, even now many Antichrists have appeared. From this, we know that it is the last hour.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been in this game as long as I have, you remember Obama. Obama was a big candidate for the Antichrist. George Bush, George H.W. Bush as well. I mean, people said Napoleon was the Antichrist. People said Hitler was the Antichrist. I think if there's a better candidate, maybe Barron Trump. I feel like Barron just wanted like to take over America one day. A lot of people would just bend the knee. I feel like I would bend the knee. But, Barron's like, yeah, we're going on a crusade. I'd probably just be like, yeah, yeah. I mean, you're like 6'9", like sure, like yeah, Let's go. So yeah, I think Baron's probably a better candidate than this guy. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, he's got a whole harem. He's got a haramic harem. So he's got the Fremen as well.
And again, and every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not
I
from
want to
God.
see the demographics of the men because we've seen so far he's got like a lot of Midwesterner women. He's got some Libby women. I want to see if he has any white men. 'Cause so far, I've only seen like you know just everything other than that. Kind of
This
an interesting dynamic going on here.
is the spirit of the
He's got like,
Antichrist, which you have heard is coming, and now it is already in the world.
right. I don't see any snow mensch as the Fremen right now. Maybe he's like Albanian or something. I don't know. Might be passable.
The spirit of the Antichrist appears to come upon a large group of people, even an entire nation, as is
Oh man, you can tell like she would you know she will fight for the cause.
a sign that the hour is near. The prophet Daniel also had a vision of a powerful empire led by an Antichrist like figure. This
All right, we got the Jedi from that one Star Wars movie. Um, nah. Whoa, it's some Johnny Bravo hair going on here.
is what he said. The fourth beast will be a fourth kingdom on the earth, which will be different from all the other kingdoms, and will devour the whole earth and trample it down and crush it.
Like these are the real you could tell like these are the zealots, man. Like okay, you have the Fremen. they they're ready to go, right? They're ready. When you start seeing gatherings like this, okay, there could be some validity to this accusation going on. I mean, they're chanting Mahdi in their sleep.
This prophecy describes a global superpower, unlike any before it, a kingdom that oppresses the righteous and alters divine law, and a
I wanted him to get to the clip that went viral. I don't know if it's actually in this speech or not. But just this kind of angle, I didn't really even expect to look at the demographics of the people here. But we'll continue onward.
ruler who blasphemes against God yet dominates the world. So, which nation fits this description? The description of this nation is that it devours the whole earth, tramples it down, and crushes it.
Hmm, who could it be? I'm guessing he's going to say America. Um, but maybe he'll go after the tribe. I don't know who he's going after.
So, it must be a world power, perhaps the strongest the world has ever seen. Only one country comes to mind that fits that description of a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and extremely strong, and it had large iron teeth. This iron beast that tramples over the
It's the Iron Dome, right? Perfect description right there. The Iron Dome.
nations is none other than the United States of America.
Come
America has become the
on.
strongest country equipped with
Chill. Chill. Okay. Well, maybe he is the Antichrist then.
all kinds of weapons of iron and steel. Its military and economic power have trampled the entire earth. The world has never witnessed an empire as powerful or as dominant as the United States. Those who
As powerful or as dominant as the United States. I don't know, like if you want to just look at sheer megatons of explosive power, yeah, sure. But lots of empires have had massive, massive power, and they come and they go. But like landmass, I mean, I mean, and then do you really want to call it America? Like it's this entity called America, or is it more like this Atlanticist world where it's more than just America? Like America is like the military arm, but then you also have all the Five Eyes countries also involved in it as well, and you know, and then you have like the emerging Eurasian world order, and then you have like the Germanic world, and you have the Italic world, and yeah, America's powerful.
are waiting for the Antichrist to appear as a single individual are gravely mistaken. When God and his prophets speak of individuals, they often mean nations. And when they speak of nations, they often mean
Here's the question though: is America at its peak power? Like, is it at its peak power projection ability? I feel like America is certainly now on the decline in terms of its peak projection power, and America is becoming more of a Western hemisphere focused nation rather than like a maritime world power, especially with the rhetoric of Trump and whatnot. You'll see like America no longer seeing itself as Western or like a European civilization, a new civilitas of Americanism will be emerging and finally being cemented within the next couple of decades as and you can see with America pulling out of NATO and kind of becoming its own faction in the world.
individuals. For example, in the Torah, God says to Moses,
The
"Then
Torah,
you shall say to Pharaoh, 'This is what the Lord says: Israel is my son, my firstborn.
there's the Mahdi's.
So I said to you, Let my son go, so that he may serve me. But you have refused to let him go. Behold, I am going to kill your son, your firstborn.'" Here, God
Oh,
refers to the entire
what a great guy Moses was, right? Just killing all those innocent firstborn Egyptians for what? What do they do to you, Moses? Prick.
nation of Israel as his firstborn son, even though it consisted of
Moses and David are some weird individuals that get a lot of reverence from both Christians and Jews, and it's disturbing. Okay, like you got David the black magician, playing around with demons, and you got Moses the baby butcher. Okay, yeah, sounds really holy and relatable. Yeah.
over 600,000 individuals. Israel was the name given to Jacob, alayhi salam, and it applied to all his children and descendants. They were many, yet considered one. Likewise, in the Quran, God says, "Indeed, Abraham was a nation, an ummah, devoutly
Oh
obedient
man,
to Allah, inclining towards truth, and he was not
the tripartite Abrahamic Civil War. I mean, it is pretty funny if you really think about it.
not of those who associate others with Allah. And the Prophet Muhammad said, the example of the believers in their mutual love, mercy, and compassion is like that of a single body. If one part of the body suffers, the whole body responds with sleeplessness and fever. So clearly, the many can be one, and the one can represent many. This same principle.
I mean, like, I'm getting kind of bored here. Can we spice it up a bit with the Antichrist rhetoric? I want to see some, I want to see some stuff. I want to see things that are going to make me want to sign up. Okay. You'll see me. I'll be there with my big red beard, right? I mean, people with red beards, I don't know what it is about red bearded men, maybe because Muhammad, blessed be his name, was a ginger, but the red hair people seem to be susceptible to conversion. I don't know what's going on there. I think maybe the Islamic ginger question needs to be further examined. It could have something to do with the redheaded male in particular, his thirst for battle, right? It's not being quenched by Christianity. And so the redheaded male's ceaseless quest and yearning for battle, I think that's what draws them to Islam, because they need to have that lust for the fight to be satisfied, and I don't think Christianity can do that in its current form. And that's why you see gingers disproportionately converting out.
Applies to the Antichrist. The prophets are warning not merely of an individual, but of a nation possessed by a spirit.
I feel like the Antichrist would be a ginger, right? If he was truly, okay, the Antichrist. I mean, more likely he would be Indian or Chinese. If you want to just like just throw a demographic dart on the board. Um, yeah, the Indian Antichrist is probably the most likely percentage.
Spirit of deception and rebellion against God. It is no secret.
Oh, he's woke on the Illuminati. Okay, he knows about the Black Lodge. Greta Thunberg is part of the Black Lodge. All right, she's a clone. I mean, Bieber definitely was. Bieber was a male. Let's be real. Bieber was a male beta sex kitten in the passive sense, right? So was Eminem. I think a lot of these young snow people, these white guys, were used as beta sex kittens. I mean, Lil Nas, yeah, he's getting clapped by Satan in one of his music videos, so like that's a little bit on the nose. But they don't really care anymore at that Little Nas point. They try to be coy back in the day with Lady Gaga and these people, but yeah, like Little Nas. I mean, we know. But of course, from my perspective, it goes much deeper than like the Abrahamic lens. This is like ancient Babylonian Semitic paganism.
Symbolism. The country itself was founded by Freemasons who take the eye of providence to symbolize their God. Does this not match the description given by Zechariah and the Prophet Muhammad? It is also no coincidence that the most iconic symbol of the nation is the Statue of Liberty. This statue closely resembles Lucifer or Satan. Consider the similarities between the Statue of Liberty.
Why are all the Christians say this guy's the Antichrist? They don't like his beanie. I I feel like I've been like rug pulled here. I'm getting upset.
And the statue of
I like this guy, okay? And I'm signing up. He's talking about the Illuminati.
Lucifer in the Cathedral of Belgium. Both have
Telling you,
crowns.
I'm telling you, you're going to see me in my toque, and I'm going to be there. Okay.
Both have chained legs. The posture and face of the Statue of Liberty also strongly resemble Thomas Lawrence's painting, Satan Summons His Legions.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I don't like this Lucifer, this Luciferian simpery. You know, especially find it. I was talking about it in the other video on these spheres. Um, Lucifer is an androgyne. Okay, it's pretty obvious.
The statue stands in New York City, a city nicknamed the Big Apple, a symbol that evokes the forbidden fruit of Eden that Satan used to deceive Adam and Eve. More importantly, the United States, rather than upholding Christian ideals, has promoted everything that is anti religion and anti God. Every immoral and unrighteous deed has been committed and glorified. The United States allows the worship of every foreign god. It has created countless idols and American superstars. It blasphemes and mocks God's name through its media. It is
Okay, well, you know what? Yeah, I think you should be allowed to do that. He lost me. I think blasphemy should be allowed. Blasphemy for all religions, too. You know, like uh, Judaism, Islam, right? Like circumcision should be banned. Halal should be banned. Kosher food should be banned, and it's all just insane practices that need to go away. Um, take it back to take back your ways, and we'll keep our ways. And yeah, kosher, halal, and circumcision are not our ways. So yeah, like you should be allowed to blaspheme the God of Abraham.
forsaken the Sabbath and glorified Sunday. It is dishonored
Yeah, Sunday's based. Okay, praise the sun. Yeah, I don't need your Sabbath.
parents and
This guy's a Jedi.
embedded this in its culture. It has committed acts of mass murder and warfare.
Oh, wow. So he's moralizing. Okay. Fuck this guy. Yeah, okay. So, like, the Ottoman Empire didn't do nothing, right? The Ottoman Empire didn't do nothing, and there's never an Ottoman slave trade. There's never Ottoman imperialism. There's never Ottomans kidnapping European people and brainwashing them to be janissaries and turning the women into concubines in their harems. That never happened, right? Jews never did anything wrong. Okay, Christians have never done anything wrong. It's just give me a break. Give me a break, man. That's what I don't. This is like the schism in my brain I have about Abrahamism. It's like these three religions: Islam, Christianity, Judaism. Each kind of have their own specialty, right? The Jews, they specialize in cultural and financial domination and exploitation. Christianity and Islam, okay, they dominate in more imperialist manners, right? And they completely throttle people. And at the same time, they like denounce the actions of the opposite end of their nemesis for the exact same thing that that they do. That you're not like you're not peaceful religions, and then you frame yourself as a peaceful religion, and then you shame other people for being violent. Just embrace the fact that you want to be violent. I can actually respect that a lot more than just playing this moral game of who's good and who's evil. And we're the good guys. We didn't do nothing. It's out of control.
It promotes and glorifies adultery and fornication. It
Okay, I mean, and so what? Like, you guys, if it's not your in group, you don't care. You can see that from history. All three of you, all three. You don't care. It's not. It's if it's not your in group, none of it applies. So yeah, who cares?
it is stolen from and plundered other nations.
Oh, they're
It
colonialists.
lies,
He's
deceives.
woke. He's an SJW antichrist. Okay. My God. That's why. Oh, that's why the girl from Portland's there. Okay, it makes total sense now. That's why AOC is in the crowd, and I gotcha.
Deceives and bears false witness globally. It covets the wealth and resources of others. While claiming to follow Jesus Christ and awaiting his return, the United States has changed God's laws and created its own systems of governance, systems that exclude the possibility of Jesus ever ruling America. The Constitution
What? Why would Jesus want to rule America? Yeah, and so what? Okay, he comes back with a sword. Big deal. That's actually like one of the only cool parts of the Bible is when they talk about Jesus having a sword. I can relate to that. Okay, I can't relate to him, resurrecting the dead and all that stuff. No.
forbids anyone not born in the United States from becoming president, disqualifying Jesus alayhi salam. It also
What is
enforces
he talking about? Like, what is he talking about here? I mean, America, Canada, these are the only places where the soil makes you a citizen. Like, if you're born randomly in Europe, you can't get citizenship. Why isn't he mad at Europe?
the separation of church and state, effectively excluding
I
Christ.
did not. Okay, I was expecting something way different. Okay, it's taking a turn. I don't even know if I'm going to keep this. We'll see. uh, I just remember he did like that big Lisa Al Gaib speech. I thought this was it. Apparently, he's woke. Okay.
From governance. But Jesus is not a symbol, he is a real
Lisa Al Gaib.
God chosen leader, an anointed king. Yet the US system of democracy insists that only the people can choose their leaders. The reality is that Jesus promoted God's laws and the idea that allegiance is only to God and that only God is the one who can elect the leader. For that is precisely what Jesus is, God's chosen leader and the anointed king of God. Was not all the prophets and messengers chosen by God? Were the people not meant?
I don't know, man. Like, Ask everybody else on Earth because we all can't agree on who's a prophet or not. So, yeah, who is your prophet? I don't accept your prophets. They're weird and they're creepy and I don't relate to them. And they're from like a place that I'm not from. They're from the Middle East, all that stuff. It's from over there. It's a completely different cultural lineage. Now, sure, Europe absorbed that and turned it more European. Obviously, I mean, like, look, it's all fake. It's the biggest plagiarization of all time. Okay, like Archangel Michael's Thor, Saint Oswald's Odin, Saint Bridget is Bridget. All the saints were gods. Arianism was polytheism, not Arianism like Aryan, but Arian. Aryan, right? Jesus was subservient or lesser than the Father. So how does that work? If the Father's the Son and the Father's the Holy Spirit, it works because they're two different entities, and Jesus was subservient to God, the All Father, which meant Jesus was the Son of God as a separate deity, which means there were more than one deities, which means the Germanics were polytheist. They just had Jesus in there as another deity.
God rejects the choice of man. Only God can appoint the leader and king, and he is the only one who can make and dictate the laws. Those who cling on to God's choice for ruler and abide by his laws will be saved. I didn't say it. Jesus alayhi salam said it when he said,
All right, Alibaba, Antichrist. I'm sorry, dude, but I wanted more anti-Christian, anti-Christos fervor, but in reality, he's kind of just like a tripartite Abrahamic type of guy. False prophet, luring your flock and subscribers with deception. I mean, I don't understand why you guys should love him. Like he's saying all the right things. I mean, from your ontological framework, he's hitting the nail on the head, the hammer. He ain't no Mahdi. Christ is king. Christ is king. Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks. Stop trying to mix Islam with Christianity. They do not worship the big. This is the biggest Christian cope of all time. This is the biggest Christian cope of all time. You guys worship the exact same God. You worship the same God as the Jews. You're all in your little, you know, Abrahamic ontology there. I mean, we. How can you deny it? You guys all worship Moses. You guys all worship Abraham. You guys all worship David. I mean, you don't worship him, you venerate him or whatever. He's a prophet. I don't know how it works for you folk. Come on. You guys have a lot more in common than you like to admit. But as a Hyperborean heathen of the old gods, I have this lens that allows me to see what others cannot perceive. So me standing over here, from my perspective, you guys are all pretty much the same. Except, again, like I said earlier, there's different qualities to different aspects of it. You know, but yeah, I know at the end of the day that I am a demon. Right? This guy's a demon, but he's not. He's not really a demon. He's like a. He's just. I don't know. He's an Abrahamist. That's what I see. I'm a demon to them. Like I worship a ginger with a hammer. That is very demonic, right? Oh, okay. Well, that didn't go as expected. I wanted to see that speech he had, but guess not. All right, so we got Ishtar, witches in space. And here's a kind of another thing. It's like Freemasonry is an extension of Abrahamism. Sorry to let you guys down. I mean, like one of the biggest tales in Freemasonry is about Solomon's Temple. It's in the exact same framework, the exact same worldview of egalitarianism, universalism, the great architect. It's all the same stuff. You guys think I don't like Masons because they're devil worshippers? No. I don't like them because they're universalists and they love everybody. That's why I hate them. Okay. No, not actually. There's some nefarious aspects for sure. Because the Semitic paganism that they actually are involved with. Okay, so this is fake. This is the fakest thing I've ever seen in my life. All right, they got Baal, the true god of Freemasonry, Baal, and the uh, Eastern Star. This is just an Eastern Star ritual. God, she gets on my nerves, man. Couldn't we get some like young, hot chicks floating around? Where's Dua Lipa? I want to see Dua Lipa floating around Zero Grav. Not this old, washed up Katy Perry. Okay, it's not 2000 freaking 8 anymore. Nobody cares.
Flint, I gotcha. I
Washed
gotcha,
up,
Flint. Oh, the moon. You
blue
guys,
haired.
I have to tell you, look at the moon.
The moon. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's a screen.
Look. Okay.
It's just like, you honestly think they shot that pod in space? Oh, she's doing an Illuminati triangle upside down. Don't even try to hide it. Bahamas. Even my psychic Nubian queens know that this is fake. Okay? I mean, look at the triangle, obviously. Come on. Right? Duper's Delight. That's what that is. Duper's Delight.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Whoa, whoa,
I don't even know who that is. Like, who are you? Why do I care?
whoa.
Who's the pilot? Where's the pilot? They didn't let the women drive? That's sexist. They shot women up into space and they didn't even let them drive. What does that say? Can't believe it.
That's amazing.
Okay, of course, Katie has to bring up her monarch mind control conditioning whenever she can because she can't get over it. I mean, obviously, she can't get over it because it's probably extremely traumatic for her. And so she has to bring it up every 5 minutes. But yeah, okay, let's just have a butterfly symbol in the middle of our space flight because that totally is just nonchalant and makes Perfect sense, right? Okay, Monarch programming. She was a beta sex kitten. I mean, her first music video breakout was her kissing a girl. It's pretty obvious what happened there. Do people actually like? I've only seen people saying that this is fake. Like, do we actually live in a reality where there are people walking around this planet right now, or this plane, or this hollow Earth? Okay, the Earth is hollow. Are there people actually walking around believing that this happened? Actually, that is actually a terrifying thought.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's good.
Okay, we got interesting symbolism here, right? We got the basically the black, the white, the black, the white. Okay, it's a couple things going on here. It's Freemasonic, free carpenter symbolism, right? I think I blew my cover in this video. I think I've seen I said the M word a bit too many times. I might be getting the Wikipedia article under the video. Sorry about that. All right, we got some dualism here. Also, we have like female female cross racial unity. So I think women will no longer really like see the like women's racial identity. People think like everyone like all of our racial identities are going to be broken down. But I really think what they're going to do is they're not even going to like care about male racial identity, like trying to break that down. I think it might be just a lost cause. Men might be just a bit too tribal for that to. Okay, well, I mean, there's definitely a lot of men who've lost that, but it will never completely go away for men. But I think what they're going to do and what they're trying to do is completely break down female racial identity, and so females primary identifier that they see themselves as will be female, and I don't think even like their race will come into play. So they'll just be like a unit. They'll just be women. Like it won't be like I'm a white woman, I'm a black woman, I'm an Asian woman. It's like we are women and we're uniting. And then men will be, you know, men will be still in their racial castes, fighting over and for the ambiguous identity that is now women. Right? Women are just going to be women, and they're going to unite.
Just, I know. Katie's.
Also, there's another aspect to this too. And I don't know if it's in this clip, but Katie walks out. She's like, "Oh, I feel the divine feminine energy. I feel so in touch with it now, right?" And there's a lot of Mother Earth symbolism, and it's kind of like the religion that they're creating for women, which is going to be more of a telluric, feminine, Earth Mother, Earth Goddess cult that they're all going to be into, and that they already are mostly into. So not only will they be united by gender, but they'll be united by faith as well. So yeah, but this didn't actually happen.
Up in so many different places, but daisies are just so resilient. And flowers for me, I believe, are like God's laughter and God's smile. And
Great.
I brought a daisy because
Flowers
I
are
have so
God's
much love.
smile. Can you get any like more just lame than that? Oh, I feel like that's like something they would put up on a wall, and like these women would buy it. That'd just be a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
For my daughter Daisy, and I have so much love for Mother Earth.
Oh, there you go.
And
See,
I believe you can see the beauty in the Mother.
All right. Speaking of Mother Earth, we gotta visit. We haven't checked up on Skylife for a while, and she needs to be checked up on because last time we saw her, quite a while ago, she was okay. You know, yeah, she lives rent free in my head. What can I say? Right? She lives rent free. Um, what happened? She had like she had that couple, and she was mourning the loss of her relationship and saying that she can't really trust men, she can't connect with men. She just turned 30. All this stuff came up, right? And so now she is going to get rearranged by Giga Chad, and you know, she's gonna wonder why no one's gonna settle down when she's being flipped around by Chad. Chad is going to do some body work on her. Um, right? He's gonna.
It's just like exactly what I'm calling in right now. And then we
how do you follow that, right? I mean, look, if you have a son, that's what you need to do, right? Let's just skip this frame here. If you have a son, what you need to do is you need to get him on TRT and growth hormone early. And you should make him get into body energy work because after watching this, like I'm thinking about hopping on some like methyl trend and getting into body work because it's pretty lucrative, it seems. Um, but yeah, just get your son into chiropractic, uh, energy, body work, TRT, and you're in.
Not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing.
whoa! She wants to be on camera.
See a girl with this hat, run. I don't know what it is about this hat. There's a guy version of this hat too. Um, they're also equally as toxic. But yeah, um, I don't know. Somebody please in the comments tell me the occult symbology of this type of hat.
She wants to be the star of the show.
For the last 2.5 months, or like 2 months, she's been nothing but just like a little angel. And now I think she's becoming like more confident. And she's like, okay, this is who I am.
She's owning her wild woman. Where shall we begin?
What are you experiencing?
My left shoulder, I keep having this chronic thing.
Right, like Chad is just going to rearrange her entire system, basically.
Person can feel completely impeccably safe and secure and loved and in alignment with their community, in alignment with themselves, in alignment with their purpose. The nervous system in a global way is
learn some keywords. Nervous system. Yeah, totally natty, by the way.
able to go, oh fuck, everything's good.
Wow.
And now suddenly we can digest and we can heal. If you don't believe that, you just haven't experienced being a human in a deep enough way. I don't think that's like a very hard thing.
Yeah, like, and I'm telling you, like, I'm already pretty juiced up guy. Like, if I took steroids, I'd be fucking yoked. I would be fucking yoked. I don't even know. I think I owe it to the world, honestly. And I'm just gonna like go straight on methyltren, right? Methyltren, methylene blue, meth, tren, all four.
To grasp.
That the mind and the body's connected.
Sigh it out.
Here's the flipping.
My feet. And then just lying legs wide. Hang.
Sky. How is like the little hippie mushroom dude like going to follow? Like he's not going to be able to follow that. Okay, that's why they always, it always goes awry with your relationships because, they look at the footage, they see, Chad or the other Chad or the previous Chad, and they're like, it's not going to work. Okay. Now, I think, of course, like women always win, by the way. Women always win. So she'll find somebody, obviously. But, you it's gonna be hard to follow that act right there.
So I'm gonna try and like ask questions while we're doing this.
How? How do you
Cut.
Oh,
My mom
nice.
would cut it, so it was like very like misaligned. So then I started this whole path towards alignment.
The aligned method.
Feeling like I needed to compensate by getting jacked as soon as I possibly could, feeling really insecure, and then that getting jacked turned into hurting myself, and then it became like a path of starting to put the pieces back together, and so that became
She's astrally rearranging her guts right now, and somebody's gonna have to wipe that up. So good luck. Maybe it's gonna be Koi. Koi is gonna be mopping it up. Astral Chad seconds.
going to school for rolfing, going to school for massage therapy, going to school for all the different modalities.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to school for massage therapy. Like, what am I even like? Why would I not do that at this point? I've seen some wild. This massage therapy meta is getting out of control.
His body work and getting different types of training and just putting the pieces back together, kind of like we're doing right now.
This is insane. So now you're like a super.
I mean, did you hear that? All right, like, come on, come on. She's getting flipped around. She's getting kicked around. She's getting stomped in the air.
Master body worker person, and you work with all these incredible people, athletes and celebrities and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Out
What a
of
world.
everybody that you've worked with, all these people, what's the core pattern where people
I'm
are
gonna do some Hyperborean chiropractic. I'm gonna put my licensing in the description below.
struggling or holding tension?
I think probably the core thing with most people, particularly working with like kind of grab this foot, particularly working with like celebrity type people, but just people in general, like all human beings. But celebrities have even more of a reason to feel guarded, and unsafe to feel safe in relationships, living a life in misalignment. And I think that creates a feeling of like
Misalignment, nervous system, okay, write down the keywords: misalignment, body energy, nervous system. Okay, teach that to your kids, to your boys, and they'll thank you for it. They'll thank you for that later.
intention.
Wait, this shoulder thing
He's
is
like choke holding her in midair. Okay, I mean, this is getting a bit graphic. This is a bit graphic.
People-
Take off the foot prisons, and then
You get the fluffer out back here.
you need to get off chairs. You need to take walks regularly. Bring your hands to your ankles, and then point your feet straight. Yeah, so you need to get out of chairs.
Being astrally BDSM dominated by this guy.
I do have a question about that when it comes to breath work.
I mean, it's just out of control. Skylife is
My
out of
intention
control.
this year was.
I'm telling you, the urine.
I think Tantra.
The urine therapy was a little bit, over the top. So if you don't know,
Very misunderstood.
But
everyone thinks that Indian men are low value, and they're not cleaning house. Let me just tell you, as a Canadian man, all these yoga girls are getting their cheeks clapped by Chad Preet. Chad Preet is the king of the hill, okay? And It's a Chad Preet world, and you're just living in his Kali Yuga.
Just by looking at you, like I honestly said to you in that authentic relating workshop, that, you know, seeing you, I wanted to know where you're from, what are your belief systems, because you're teaching here as well. And so
This
I'd love you to
guy
just
is
introduce yourself.
just.
So my name is Harsimer. I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan.
He's got the. He's got the Jagmeet accent. He literally sounds exactly like Jagmeet. Wow.
Indian parents that immigrated from India. Growing up, I had like your normal, average American upbringing where I went to high school, played a lot of sports, but with like a Indian background. My parents.
He's a Chad Preet. And like, you think I'm lying? I know these women. I grew up with these women. They go to India. They go to the yoga studios. What do you think is going on? Yeah, I know what goes on because I'm not in, you know, I have lots of friends over time. Word gets out. What happens in India stays in India, okay? And they're not shy about it either. They talk about it. So we already know what happens. They're getting their chakras cleared out and their cheeks clapped at the same time. Okay. Uh, so, I mean, everyone wants to be in denial about this fact, but I mean, here she is. Like, what do you think goes on in these ashrams? Okay.
We'll just be here for a little bit of time, just grounding.
Because we live in a yoga world order. Who is at the top of the yoga pyramid? Who has the best, downward dog? They've been doing it their whole lives. Of course, they're dominating the scene, right? And then they do some crazy, post-apocalyptic fire ceremony
Roaming hippies
rituals.
that like aren't grounded in reality, but I found that I've met some of the smartest, most like intelligent, grounded people in these spaces that
I've been thinking about this for a couple weeks. I should go to one of these retreats undercover. I mean, that could be like a whole new like angle we take, right? We go in, we explore these. We just get like I want to get into the mind. Okay, these girls are going to hate me because I'm like, they're not going to like me. They can smell a Hyperborean a mile away. But I just want to understand like the mind, the ethos, the ontology. We have it's still kind of very kind of surface level. I mean, I like to make fun of them, but it goes deep. And one thing I've been thinking about lately was people like to frame like I made a couple videos about Ebola lately, and he kind of frames like the left and the right as like hierarchy is right, is the true basis, the foundation of the right, like the real right, and the left is egalitarianism. That's like the foundational ethos of both sides. Hierarchy, we need more hierarchy or we need more egalitarianism, and that's like the axis which these two different modes of operating play out. I've been thinking about another axis, and it's like separateness versus oneness, right? Think about it. Okay. What is like their prevailing rhetoric? We're all one. We're all expressions of the same self. We're all drops of consciousness in an ocean of consciousness type of stuff. Whereas we have more of a individual, I'm like, I'm not like individualism, but like we are individuals, our actions have individual capacity. Like I myself as an individual am to blame for my individual faults. Whereas they're more, well, it's more one, you're more of it's like impersonalism, like you're a drop. It's kind of like the difference between the fundamental difference between Vedanta and Buddhism. Whereas like Vedanta believes that your soul has a face and you're an individual, like a concrete individual soul that has a story and an essence to that soul. Whereas Buddhism is more your individuality and even your soul is a result of varying different attributes, aspects that arise to create you as an individual, but you're not actually an individual. You're just a bunch of ingredients coming together to create a soul, an individual. And the soul actually isn't you, it's consciousness, which will just take a different form. If you understand what I'm trying to say here. And personalism versus personalism, I guess. That's what I'm getting at. So they're more like impersonalists. They're going to like this is like the Zion orgy I'm looking at right now. We're more like we're more about, borders. And that's another thing, right? Borders. We like borders. They don't like borders. And even in a spiritual sense, like a metaphysical sense, like I don't want to be them. Like, okay. Let me know if you get what I'm saying.
Are really like walking in different realms and dimension hopping in different realities, and it's so fun to me. Like that's where I'm really interested.
Can somebody please tell me how I can dimension jump at this place? Please. I want to leave. It's the smell.
To dive even deeper into tantra as a practice of how to like integrate heaven to earth. Like we didn't come to be human to just go back to source as humans.
Source.
Like we came to have the
That word triggers me. Gotta go back to source, man. What source? Can you be a bit more specific so I know where you're coming at? Okay, at least I was harping on Abrahamism for a half hour. At least they have a solid, that's one thing I'll give them. Okay. It's a solid metaphysical lens that has, very concrete and solid ups and downs, lefts and rights. This is that. We come from this. And if you do that, that's wrong. If you do this, that's good. Okay. Where's this? It's ambiguous. Okay. Source. What does that mean? I don't know. Somebody please tell me. I've been hearing this word for 20 years now. And as much as I can figure it out, it's like the force, but I mean, even less cool than the force because the force is kind of cool. The source, it's kind of lame.
experience of being human. So I've learned a lot this week.
Cool. Like this guy, like, man, the amount of the amount of this like archetype of girl this guy encounters on a daily basis. I mean, he just knows exactly like what to say and how to act. Because if he has even fumbled before, he knows how to correct the fumble in the future because there's just I mean, you know this girl. I know this girl. We all know this girl. There's billions of this girl. So like even if he happened to fumble a few times, he's like self-corrected and he's like a tantric master at this art at this point.
But by activating my senses and pushing my boundaries, whether it's doing shibari for the first time and
Shibari,
like
size 13 feet. All right, I'm gonna be just my hobbit feet are gonna be platforms for these broads.
where I'm like flying on somebody's feet while I'm tied up, that was a huge edge for me.
Tied up on the feet. I mean, these guys are smart. They know what they're doing.
And I found that it wasn't
They've shielded it and placed a little veneer of yogic metaphysics on top of their shibari, feet bondage.
a sexual experience like many people think shibari is. It was a way for me to just be really deeply present with sensation.
Right. That's what they're going to call sex now. You're just being, you're not having sex, you're just deeply present with the sensation.
So I want to share a very brief, honest reflection of the whole experience. I learned a lot here.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun.
I bet.
I made some amazing new friends. The festival for me wasn't anything super like deeply profound or deeply transformative. It wasn't.
What else is she doing? She's doing cactus ceremonies with South American warlocks. Hippie Street. Chanted Om for 8 hours. Of course, she's got her cheeks out in the waterfall. Chanting Om with the cheeks out. I mean, you can't blame them, can you? I don't know if I want to look at this. Like, where Skylife is like maybe a naive seeker and trying to get that bag, trying to get her bag up. Mia Magic is terrifying. First of all, she's using the Crowley K, so she actually knows what's up. And something about her vibe. I mean, she kind of went viral for the rage ritual, which I don't want to look at because we all know, and every Republican commentator had to throw in their little 2 cents service level analysis on it. But she's terrifying. I mean, I think she's the real deal. She knows real magic. Okay, it's not fluff with her. Like she knows what's up, and something about her scares, like, is scary. What was the video I was looking at? Beltane. Okay, we're gonna look at her Beltane video, and I just want to see if she brings up anything to do with actual Celtic heritage, or if it's just a lot of we're all one. Bruh.
It's Beltane, baby. What's
I don't know if you would call this ginger hair, ginger maxing, leprechaun maxing. I mean, as a half ginger myself, my mom's side is half dwarf, half leprechaun, and my dad's side is half elf, half hyperborean. I take offense to this.
up, magical people? Welcome back to Your Most Magical Life. I'm Mia Magic, and today we are talking about the solar and celestial celebration of Beltane, which marks the midpoint between spring equinox and summer solstice. This is a celebration that has been honored in many.
Okay. The red women here. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with these people. Doesn't seem to have any Celtic significance whatsoever.
Many cultures worldwide, of course, because our original holy
many cultures worldwide
days were those for celestial alignments, the solstices and the equinoxes, depending on which hemisphere you're in, they're still the same. But
Yeah, but so depending on which hemisphere you're in, like people are going to have completely different reasons for practicing those rituals. Okay, if you live in the north, most of it revolves around light defeating the ever present darkness. Which, if you're me right now, after having about 6 months of freaking darkness and constant heart attacks, you are glad and you feel it is celebratory. But if you're closer to the equator, it's not that big of a deal. Right.
different.
Mia?
And it's so funny that like even Cinco de Mayo, which of course does
Cinco
memorialize
de Mayo is Beltane.
a battle that was won against against the European colonizers in Mexico. But it's around that same time. It's
So is that why you celebrate it?
that same week. And so I actually think that there was a deeper, longer celebration because it is the opposite of the Samhain, Dia de los Muertos, Halloween, Day of the Dead portal. And so this holy day.
Okay.
Bealtaine is the word in the Gaelic or Celtic tradition, but it has been celebrated worldwide for millennia.
So it's celebrated by indigenous South Americans and Celtic people, but it's what? The same thing?
Like all of the solar holidays that have been changed because of the church and because of religion and la 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 la. But
I mean, the church celebrates it too. You have Easter, right? And you have Ostara, and you have Christmas, which is Yule. So yeah, they changed it, but they still celebrate it in bulk, right?
we are going to be talking about how you can utilize this cosmic portal during this first week of May. It happens every year. And I certainly think if you watch my Taurus new moon video, I really think that it is the most powerful time to manifest. I'm going to make a Scorpio full moon video as well. So that's coming soon, but it's the verdant life of spring. The reason why we celebrate Easter, why we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus during this time, like my Easter nails, speaking of which, is because the word resurrection actually means awakening. And it was about the world reawakening, not the world as a whole, but the springtime flowers blossoming, eggs are being laid again. Chickens don't lay eggs in the winter. It takes too much energy. They don't have enough food. Bunnies are giving birth. Rabbits are one of the most.
She's quick. She's really quick. She has some pep in her step. Some something going on there.
Prolific, like in terms of proliferation, species. They can have up to 18 kits in a single litter. That's why we say fuck like rabbits, because like rabbits be getting it, you know, very much a sign of creativity. Whatever you want to birth and blossom in your life, then come on down. Click the link.
Give me the ritual. Let's go.
With
to the point.
our environment.
What do I need? Give me the formula. Okay, I want to manifest my chiropractic career. Let's go. Let's go.
It's wild. It's feral. It's fertile. It's feminine. It's fierce. It's fiery. It's big. It's big. And so we get to be big. We get to claim our bigness. And again, it's okay if you're in that small.
You know, in Czech Republic, they you know how they celebrate Beltane? They get a bunch of willow limbs. They strap them together and they find nubile young ladies and they swat them on the rump with the willow. I think that is a wonderful and truly spiritual representation of fertility and the fertility celebration that is Beltane. And so I would like to thank the Czechs for keeping that ritual alive and well. And I think this should actually be part of the Hyperborean revival. We need to bring this ritual back to the mainstream of Hyperborean thought. Okay. That's enough of me and Magic, I think. I don't know, like, is she going to say anything interesting? Like, the only cool thing she did was the rage ritual. And, like, I can't do it. If Brett Cooper did it, I can't do it. So I can't really look at it. It's too, it's been done. Anything that Brett Cooper's done, I'm not touching. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. I don't know uh, where I was going with this one. We saw the Antichrist. We saw Sky. We saw Mia. We saw everything. We saw Katy Perry. So yeah, if you liked the video, feel free to subscribe. Appreciate it, guys. See you next time.